It's not a cold fish.
This is me. Totally unfiltered.
Completely unfiltered once you get past the 4 camera filters on me right now.
It is very cold.
I don't think you're supposed to hear that.
So, okay. I have zero interest in being like in the middle of drama. That's not what I do.
Yeah, I don't get in the middle of drama. Instead, I kind of rope it like a wild horse and just rein it in and surround myself with it and make it my bitch.
Hey, actually last night I had an opportunity to have a brand new source.
Yeah, did you hear that, Amy? I found a new source. You're not the only source in town, you know? I mean, I can find another source. You're not the only source that I can get. You know, I mean, I get it. Okay, fine, whatever. You felt you needed to move on or whatever nonsense, you know, but we'll see how much you like seeing me listen to someone else.
You guys, it's always amazing when I have new people reach out and I can verify it and I can corroborate.
See, you're not the only one who can move on and be all happy and shit. Like, I'm happy. I'm doing better. I found someone better. I found someone who can corroborate, verify, but like really verify. Not like our verify where I faked everyone.
The new source that I have is pretty awesome. They have pretty close connections to the Duggars, and I think have a more inside peek than some of the others.
Yeah, they just have so much more to offer me. In fact, even their connection is bigger. Turns out size does matter.
And so she's already someone who has a public platform. And so imagine her when she says something and for years, everyone's been on her side. And then suddenly nobody likes anyone to do with the Duggars. I mean, it's a very difficult time in the world to be a Duggar, especially in Arkansas. The locals there are just like, ugh. Most people don't want anything to do with them. Most people are like over it. They aren't interested. They're not relevant to them. They just want them to sort of like disappear kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that you dumped me. I mean, they freed me up to be able to find my new source. And really, it's only because of my new source and I that the Duggar name is basically mud at this point. Yeah, so it looks like you were wrong. You were actually the one holding me back.
Unfortunately, your name can't, I mean, you can change it to a point, but you can't change who your family is.
Hey there, Manskis.
The very challenging thing, you guys, I think that's been very present for me in covering this IBLP is that right now, Jim Bob Duggar is the most powerful person in the IBLP. And even though Jim Bob isn't on paper a leader, he really is the leader.
Because as anyone can attest who has ever owned property or car before, it's not about whose name is on the paperwork that makes one the owner. It's the one who has 19 kids.
He has the most clout, the most influence.
Because when your last name is pretty much up there with mud, that's what you garner is influence. I mean, just ask Dr. Samuel Mudd. Although, at least he got a pardon.
She was like talking about how she was picking up her grandma one day and the producers saw her and she was wearing jeans and she wasn't dressed like the rest of the kids. And they noticed that she was different in that she wasn't as like regimented. And they asked, you know, she was there to literally pick up Grandma Duggar. And they realized that she would provide a like comic relief, maybe. She could be the butt of the jokes.
Yeah, I may be the joke on YouTube, but you were the joke on network TV. I mean, you had way more people watching you, way more people laughing and paying attention to you.
She could be the one that the producers could use as like, well, we're not going to be like Amy because Amy's the whatever, you know. She was the rebel. And being a rebel in the IBLP is literally the worst thing in the world. A rebel is someone that's like satanic and witchcraft and a kid that's like going to hell.
Now, I could look at this logically, like any other storyteller would look at it and see clearly that you were brought onto the show to serve as your typical antagonist in a story. But nah, instead I'm going to tell you that your family laughed at you and mocked you and can't stand you. Yeah. Don't you wish we could still be friends?
So you have to understand, when you call her the Rebel Duggar, in the world of the IBLP, you're literally calling her like Satan.
It could be worse. I mean, she could be James Dean.
And a lot of her filming was with Josh. And she and Josh and Anna had a close relationship during that time.
Oh, but don't worry. I'm sure that no one thinks that you knew what Josh was doing or what he was into. And I'm sure no one even suspects that, you would have done something like help him cover it up or anything. I mean,
5 or 10 minutes after the video was uploaded, I get a phone call from Amy. And she's like panicked. And she's like, take it down. Take the video down. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, take the interview down. And I was like, why would I take the interview down? And she's like, Jim Bob says the video has to come down. And I was like, what? And she's like, I have an NDA. And I was like, you have an NDA?
I feel like it was very irresponsible for someone to not have made me aware of this NDA. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, I've searched I've looked her up on Google and shit, and I'd never seen it. I mean, I feel like someone dropped the ball here.
So I'm on the phone with Amy, and I'm listening to Amy listen to her mom, who has Jim Bob on the other line, and I can tell that Deanna is upset. I can tell that she's trying to like calm the waters and pacify Jim. And then I have Amy panicked, and she said, he's going to sue me. And I was like, why would he sue you? He says that if I don't take the video down, I'm going to get sued. It's $500,000. I have to have the video down. I was trying to calm her down. I was trying to be like, NDAs don't hold up in court. It's so stupid. Like, you're not saying anything wrong.
I can't believe that my legal advice and expertise didn't calm her down at all. So selfish.
So I learned very quickly how much control Jim Bob had over those people, that even if he didn't own them, he could still threaten them. Because I witnessed him through talking to Amy on one phone and seeing her panic, and then hearing Deanna talking to Jim Bob on the other line. I had to take the video down. I didn't have to, and I said that to her. I said, there is nothing I did in that video that is defamatory. I didn't publish anything that was wrong. I would not be hurt by this staying up. I will take this down out of respect for you, because I don't want you to get sued.
It's only because of how much I respected her then that I withheld information and I withheld the truth from my viewers. And it's only because of how much I respect her now that I'm now revealing all of her business and whatnot to the whole world and telling people all this. Sometimes it's hard being a truth seeker, that when those you seek to find the truth about, they ask you to withhold the truth, and you just so easily and willingly just say yes. That doesn't mean I'm not a truth seeker. That just means that I have priorities.
Right now, I'm being called a liar, and all I can think about is, who is in your ear, Amy? Who's in your ear that's telling you to take it down? Who is in your ear telling me to delete it? I have covered a lot of people in my time, and there's no person that's told me or asked me to delete more posts than Amy.
I've covered a lot of people in my time of like 3 years, and I've taken stuff down for James Charles, for Toddy Westbrook, for Todd Chrisley, for Lindsay Chrisley, for Amy Duggar King, for pretty much anyone I've been friends with and who's asked me to take stuff down. I've happily obliged, though I have not taken as much stuff down for anyone as I have for Amy. I mean, who asks that much?
And I think it's because she's afraid of her uncle. I think she's afraid of his control. I think she's afraid of what he might do to her. in a court of law or just personally. I mean,
which is something I can relate to easily because I lived that same life under Toddy Westbrook's thumb, wondering, what is she going to do to me, like in a court of law or personally or whatever, if I don't take down the defamatory information? I mean, I get it.
The death of Mary Duggar was not me saying that it was weird or me saying it was strange or the timing was, or the way that she died was strange. Isn't anything that I came up with. I was actually, hold on, looking just to give you some ideas of like headlines at the time. Like this one was like a death, and there was a police investigation that was in touch.
Yeah, having that police investigation was just really weird. I mean, normally when there's any kind of deaths that occur that aren't from natural causes, like even something such as drowning, usually the cops just take the family's word for it when they say exactly how it happened. Or if they say, I don't know how it happened, they just say, okay, no big deal. So the investigation was kind of weird.
Why are they refusing to answer questions regarding her death? You know, there was a lot of questions early on, and
yeah, the fact that they wouldn't answer, media questions regarding the death, that's suspect.
I forgot about Grandma Mary's strange death.
Yeah, this one most of all. I mean, that's a Reddit post right there. I mean, Reddit being one of the most, credible, verifiable, best informative news sources there are. I mean, I use them all the time. They're one of my best sources. Even they were questioning this. So, I mean, this was not me questioning it.
People are talking about this. An accidental drowning is unusual. They happen all the time, but...
They happen all the time, but, that's why they just can't really happen, because they're so unusual that they're always happening. So when one happens, it can't be real. It happens all the time, but it's just so unusual.
This is Radar Online called it a suspicious drowning. So these were narratives that were not painted by me.
It was these other media outlets who called attention to the fact that there was no known cause for her drowning, so therefore whatever caused it, it was suspicious. I mean, no one knew what caused it, so people were suspect as to what it was that could have caused it. That was their narrative, not mine. The only thing I did was I took that narrative and then I suggested, well, maybe that the drowning occurred because someone in the family caused it to happen, and they did so to protect Josh and his internet activities. That's it. That's all I did.
And I'll tell you one thing. She encouraged a lot of my posts. So when things were going her way and she didn't get backlash, she loved it. But once Josh's arrest happened and she was getting backlash from all different directions, she can't call the Sun and say, you need to take that story down. The Sun isn't going to respond. They're a huge outlet. She can't call In Touch and say, In Touch, you need to take that down. That's not fair.
Well, I mean, she could have. They probably would have ignored her, just told her to go shit in a hat or whatever, because they could do that. They weren't friends with her like I was. So, and she likely just didn't bother because she knew that they would probably tell her to go shit in a hat. But since we're friends, she knew that there's a good chance I would listen to her. So you could say that she manipulated me, even, I don't know. But and I get it, she probably asked me and everything because she was worried about Jim Bob and stuff, and I care about that. I mean, Jim Bob, a lot of people are terrified of him, and I don't want to see anyone get hurt, which is why I'm just exposing all of her business now. It's long overdue because I kept it secret and quiet while we're friends, but now it's time I did my job and I'm putting it out there.
But she can tell me because I'm independent.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's that law now where you can only ask non-independent journalists to take stuff down, and every independent journalist has to say yes. That's why she could ask me, but no one else.
I think she gets a lot of really bad backlash from Jim, and I think Jim controls and wants to control and intimidates, and I feel sad for that.
I feel so sad, and I'm so worried about it that's the only reason why I'm here talking very publicly about all of our back dealings and everything that went down with us as friends and all the things that she said about her family and talked about and told me about and everything. And I'm revealing it all because of the backlash that she'll likely see from Jim Bob. Okay, now it's time for member shoutouts. I'd like to thank
Daddy Morgan, Ruby Red Shoes, Ellie R, Maria Rose 1, Christy Z, Bo Roundtree, Crystal, aka Not a Troll, Sky Vision, Verilion, Carol T, Tennessee Doll Mom, BBLCR, Sassy Nas, Megan's, Angel Cake, Trisha Burge, Nana Hawk, Nikki May, Lauren Nelson, Beth Yant, Everybody Burps, Lil Mousy Girl, Weskery Rabbit, Manya, Lola Flo, Amputee, Mishmash, Lola W, Cherry Berryman, Chronic Space, Sassy Elmo, Autistic Show, Busy Bee, I'm fucking Reagan, Y'all Nana's Not Drunk, Mariana Santos, Stray Ski, Christina Elizabeth, Shiloh Messy R, Osbel, Megan Broussard, Diane Harlow, T King, One Word Angel, Rose Sus as TV, Austin James, TB, Cheryl, Crystal, Totally Clueless, Sally Godfrey, Paula Dupree, Sue Elliott, Rena Rue, Sunny D, Claire Esper, Jamie Couchard, Joby's mom, Annette Carlson, Police Wife like JCM, Kimberly Roddy Mom, Atticus Finch, Leah, Jeanette Stevens, Gentry Art, Jen Gerard, Poodle Rithic, and Yoo-Hoo Shoo Shoo.
Thank you very much for joining, and thank you everyone for watching.